Margaret, in her own right Countess of Norfolk, was the daughter and eventual sole heir of Thomas of Brotherton, eldest son of Edward I, by his second marriage. In 1338 she succeeded to the earldom of Norfolk and the office of Earl Marshal. Family. Born about 1320, Margaret was the daughter of Thomas of Brotherton, eldest son of Edward I by his second marriage to Margaret, the daughter of Philippe III of France. Her mother was Alice de Hales, daughter of Sir Roger de Hales of Haley's Hall in Loddon in Rutton, Norfolk by his wife Alice. She had a brother and sister, Edward of Norfolk, who married Beatrice de Mortimer, daughter of Roger de Mortimer, 1st Earl of March, but died without issue before the 9th of August 1334. Alice of Norfolk, who married Sir Edward de Montague. In 1335, aged 15, she was married to John Seagrave, 4th Baron Seagrave, and proceeded to have 4 children, 2 sons and 2 daughters by him. In 1350, she sought a divorce on the ground that they had been contracted in marriage before she was of marriageable age, and that she had never consented to cohabit with him. She made known her intention of traveling to the continent in order to plead personally with the Pope for a divorce. King Edward III prohibited her from leaving England, but she set off incognito anyway, having taken care to obtain a safe conduct from the King of France. The following year Edward III charged her with having crossed the English Channel in contravention of his prohibition. The Inquisition, regarding this incident, shows that Margaret unlawfully crossed the Channel and met with a servant of her future husband, Sir Walter de Mornay, who broke his lantern with his foot so she could pass unnoticed and acted as her guardian during her sojourn in France. This incident and the involvement of her future husband's retainer may indicate the real motivation for Margaret seeking a divorce. The divorce case was ultimately heard by the Pope's auditor, the Dean of St. Hilary's at Poitiers. However, Margaret's first husband died in 1353, before the divorce could be finalized. Shortly thereafter, and just before the 30th of May 1354, she married Sir Walter de Mornay without the king's license. They were married 18 years, and had 3 children before he died at London on 13th of January 1372. On the 29th of September 1397, Margaret was created Duchess of Norfolk for life. She died the 24th of March 1399, and was buried in the choir of Greyfriars in the City of London. The executors of her will are reported to be John Silby and Amp Walter Fitzpiers, who in 1399 were reported to be attempting to recover money due to her estate. Marriages and issue. Margaret married firstly, about 1335, John Seagrave, 4th Baron Seagrave, by whom she had 2 sons and 2 daughters, John de Seagrave, who died young, John de Seagrave, second of that name, who was contracted to marry Blanche of Lancaster, younger daughter and co-heiress of Henry of Grosmont, 1st Duke of Lancaster. However, the contract was later declared void and Blanche later married John of Gaunt. About 1349, a double marriage was solemnized in which John Seagrave married Blanche Mowbray, while John's sister, Elizabeth Seagrave, married Blanche Mowbray's brother, John de Mowbray, 4th Baron Mowbray. Pope Clement VI having granted dispensations for the marriages at the request of Lancaster, in order to prevent disputes between the parents, who were neighbours. Elizabeth de Seagrave, 5th Baroness Seagrave, who married John de Mowbray, 4th Baron Mowbray. Margaret de Seagrave, who died young, before 1353. Shortly before the 30th of May 1354, Margaret married secondly, and without the king's license, Sir Walter Mornay, by whom she had a son and 2 daughters. Thomas Mornay, who was drowned in a well at Deptford at the age of 10. Anne Mornay, who married John Hastings, 2nd Earl of Pembroke; Isabel Mornay, who was living in 1358, but died without issue before the 30th of November 1371. Distinction. As her brother had died without issue, she succeeded to the earldom of Norfolk and the office of Earl Marshal at her father's death in 1338. To date, she is the only woman to have held the latter office. Fictional representations. Margaret is a character in Georgette Heyer's last novel My Lord John. Ancestry.